will start and finish with Pan's Labyrinth. I know Guillermo was on...
he was on briefly, wasn't he, before he decided to go off and have a cup of tea?
He didn't decide to go and have a cup of tea. He was pulled off to another interview. But anyway, regardless of that...
He said he was going to stay.
He did try to stay. I don't want to waste time arguing about that anyway.
Move on.
Okay. It's absolutely wonderful. It is, for my money, the best film of the year, and I kind of feel so excited about it. I'm kind of having to take deep breaths to calm myself down. The story, as much as it can be explained, is that it's a dark fairy tale about choice set against the backdrop of 1944 fascist Spain, and the story is a young girl whose recently widowed mother marries a captain who is working in for the Guardia Civil, for the Civil Guard, policing Maquis anti-fascist resistance in the wooded region of Spain, and she goes to live with him. And whilst the end of World War II and the dog end of the Spanish Civil War, which officially finished in 1939, is being played out, this young girl discovers a labyrinth, and in that labyrinth she discovers a faun, not Pan. It's only called Pan's Labyrinth in the English title. The Spanish language title is the Faun's Labyrinth, who says that she is, or she may be, the missing princess of a lost world, and she has to go through a series of trials on a quest through the labyrinth in order to become the princess of this lost world. So two stories operating in parallel, one of them about war, which is very tough, very brutal, very dark, very realist. The other about a young girl not escaping into a fantasy world, but being enveloped by a fantasy world, which is every bit as real as the real world. Now, the things you need to know are, if you saw The Devil's Backbone, which was set in 1939, was very similar sort of idea in that it was a Spanish Civil War story, but it was also a ghost story. Guillermo describes this as the sister movie to that movie being this movie's brother. It is an extraordinary mix of realism and fabulous invention. It has a menagerie of monsters that are absolutely beautiful and yet, on the other hand, quite scary. It's a film about children, but it's not a kid's film. I mean, it's a 15 certificate, and I know some people actually find moments of it too tough. That's perfectly fine. There are moments, particularly in the war scenes, in the scenes of the real world, in inverted commas, that are pretty hard going. But I just thought it was wonderful. I genuinely think it is the Citizen Kane of modern fantasy cinema. It's one of those things when the movie comes together, and you just think, if I can just get one of these every 10 years, I can carry on being a critic and sitting through all the Santa Claus 3s, and nothing matters. It's a film made absolutely on the director's own terms. He's a director who comes out of genre, so he understands fans, he understands the language of genre cinema, and yet he never patronizes, he never talks down to his audience. It's a film about redemption and sacrifice and faith and hope and things that are beyond life, and yet it's not about an escape into a fantasy world. And I really can't recommend it highly enough. I mean, literally, if you only go and see one film this year, well, firstly, what are you doing with your life? If you only go and see one film this year, you go and see Pan's Labyrinth. And believe me, it's I'm not overselling it. It is every bit as extraordinary as I'm saying. And every time I read a review that's kind of lukewarm, and there are some which are lukewarm, some people who disagree with you. Yeah, no, I'm not saying that it's a matter of agreement or disagreement. It is like this is what the kind of level that it's with me now with Pan's Labyrinth. It's kind of, either you think, yes, that is the Citizen Kane of fantasy cinema. As soon as anyone says but, I just don't want to hear it anymore, because it's like looking at the Sistine Chapel and going, it's really good, but I don't like the bit with the cherubs up there, or looking at the Mona Lisa and saying, yeah, it's really nice, but with a wonky smile. It's no, and thrice or thrumpteenth time, no. It is just a masterpiece.
So it's up there with the Sistine Chapel.
It's up there with Citizen Kane. I mean, that's, as I said, the problem with most movies is they're not Citizen Kane, but it's absolutely flawless. It's up, in the same way as History of Violence was the best film of last year, premiered at Cannes and won no awards. This is the best film of this year, and I can't see it walking off with a number of awards, because people just actually don't give awards to genre cinema, basically because the people who give those awards are nitwits and fools. But it is absolutely full-on best thing you will see this year. It's a transformative experience. It's a life-changing experience, and it's one of those,
It's not. It is. Okay, in what way has your life changed as a result of seeing the film then?
Because actually, funnily enough, when I went to see it, it was in that sort of period when we'd had a slew of kind of... Every now and then you get to the point of thinking, this is where cinema is. It's not going to move on further. And then you see Pan's Labyrinth and you go, no, it is going to move on further. Like any of those...
But how has it changed your life?
Because it made me, happier and more positive about things.
Right, okay, that'll do. I understand. So it's just changed your mood, in other words.
Well,
so you could have had a beer? Or you could go see Pan's Labyrinth.
Yeah, that's what should go on the poster. Pan's Labyrinth. Or you could have a beer. Simon Mayer, Radio 5.
Apparently,
do you think people said that to Michelangelo at the end of it? Do you think they said, it's really nice? Could have had a Swiftie, though, couldn't you?
Yeah, maybe.